The Portland Trail Blazers win Game 1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They finally break their playoff losing streak, and CJ has done it for Jennifer. What's going on, True Blazer fans? It's Tori, and welcome to my Game 1 recap. Now, as I'm doing with every playoff game, I'm recapping things game by game. No weekly recaps or any of that. I'm doing it on a game-by-game basis. So in this recap, I'm going to be breaking down a lot of plays and a lot of things I saw during this game, and then I'm going to look at what we need to do going forward. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this footage. I love Dame coming down and starting the game with a deep pull-up three from the Moda Center logo. In this play, I really like Al-Farouq Aminu screening down for Kanter, who's coming to set an on-ball screen, gets Adams a little bit out of position, and should soften the trap. Now, OKC was not trapping anywhere near as hard as New Orleans, and it ended up with Dame being able to penetrate and kick to shooters, and that's really how this game started. Now, Adams did get going early. They were looking heavily for him, but Kanter's defense improved as the game went on. Some more three-point opportunities for CJ, and he came out firing, hit his first 3 threes, and Portland really got hot from the three-point line to start this game. More pick and roll, more Steven Adams, but as I said, Kanter's defense improved. He figured things out, and he improved on that end. Portland was really good at driving and kicking and getting the ball moving early in this game. You had Harkless drive kick to Aminu, who drives and hits that floater. Our two forwards driving and kicking to one another and creating a shot. And here, more driving and kicking, and Damian Lillard gets possibly the most open three-point look I've ever seen him get in his playoff career. Portland was playing a great brand of basketball, and they built a lot of momentum from not only hitting threes, but also just getting good shots and having the ball zipping around. And as I said, Kanter's defense improved. That block on Russ really set the tone for the rest of the game, in my opinion. Portland was making a run offensively, but we knew defense was going to be an issue, and Kanter's block, I think, sent the message that OKC wasn't going to be able to attack him all game and have unlimited success. CJ McCollum misses a wide open three here. I don't know what happened with OKC, but that was terrible defense, but Kanter cleans it up, and he was huge with 20 points and 18 rebounds, exactly what we needed out of our starting center. Now, even though Adams scores here, this is really good defense by Enes Kanter, holding his ground, dislodging the ball, and that's an example of a good defensive possession where the offense still scored. Portland ran a lot in transition to start the game, and they were getting great looks. CJ missed that wide open layup, but Kanter finishes, and Portland's use of transition basketball is what I wanted to see going into the series. It kind of waned later in the game, so hopefully we'll be able to see them do it even a little bit more in Game 2. However, I think Portland can play even better defense than they did in this game. There's no way that Russell Westbrook should be able to dribble coast to coast without getting impeded at all, and there was a few times this game where the Thunder got an opportunity like that. And as I said, this is not the Pelicans type of trapping defense. Damian Lillard was able to split this. Now, this weak side defender was rotating a lot later than in the Pelicans series. The Pelicans would rotate the guy up here and take away the roller and the splitting of the pick and roll, but as I showed, when the defender's at the X, it would leave this baseline cut showed by the dotted line from the corner. However, with the defenders staying low, it gave a lot of room for Portland to be able to hit the roll man or split the pick and roll and attack. CJ McCollum got a lot of floaters due to the space they were giving up, as you'll see later on in this game. However, Russell does rotate in front of Kanter, who's rolling to the rim, but Kanter makes the right decision. He immediately sees that and knows that this corner pass is wide open. The key to beating the trap is to get the ball in a 2-on-1 position where this weak side defender either has to take away the corner or it has to take away the roll man or the driver. Russ took away Kanter, and Kanter immediately swung it to the corner to Rodney Hood. This was a pass that Jusuf Nurkic was great at, and it's really good to see Kanter being able to make this pass quickly as well. Wide open three. Bottoms. Now here's another example of Russell getting coast to coast way too easily. At this point, Rodney Hood, who's marked with the X, should notice that Damian Lillard is beat, and he should already be sliding over to take away the driving lane that Westbrook has. Rodney can pick up Russ, and Dame could easily switch on to Raymond Felton, who plays his position, and the Blazers would not have a mismatch anywhere, but Rodney Hood is way too late at rotating over and lets Russ get too deep into the paint, which makes this handoff pass to Steven Adams available, and the Thunder score. Curry got hot early, and he's definitely going to be an X factor off the bench, hits that three, and then chases down this steal, and I really like that we were able to turn defense into offense as he just walks right into this wide open three, and it's weird to see these guys in the stands at a Blazer game and Del Curry wearing a Blazer sweatshirt. Did you know the Curry family likes popcorn? Because I feel like it's been covered more on ESPN than the Blazers have been lately. Now here's another example of Russ going coast to coast, and Myers Leonard was actually in great help side position right here, until he wasn't. We cannot be giving up these wide open drives to Russell Westbrook. That's definitely an easy area where we should be able to improve going into game 2. And then more transition basketball. CJ McCollum left to right cross floater. He missed a lot of easy floaters in the second half that he normally makes, but it was encouraging for him to get those types of shots. And then Dennis Schroeder struggled. He shot 5 for 17, but the shots he was hitting was out of the space that we gave him on the pick and roll. He's not a good three-point shooter. He's around 33-34%. So I want us to go under these screens instead of over. Give him the 3 instead of letting him have this mid-range shot. This was a dime from CJ McCollum. His passing has actually been pretty good since he returned from injury. Left-handed off the bounce. That's a tough pass. He delivers it perfectly. And then here's more terrible transition defense. Against a team that really likes to push the ball, sometimes you just have to take the closest offensive player. And Portland was actually matched up pretty well. This is who they should have gotten in transition. It wasn't their original assignment, but sometimes you can't get back to your original guy. Portland had defenders either right next to or in front of all these offensive players, but Dame completely leaves Paul George to try and get back to his guy, leaving Paul George wide open for an easy layup. And transition defense is the biggest area we need to improve going into game 2, but it should be easier than some other flaws that we had. Again, I don't know what happened here, but seriously, there were so many easy layups that the Thunder got that I know they shot terribly, but imagine if we didn't give those up. They would have struggled to reach 90 points. So OKC was able to get back into the game due to a lot of these easy shots. I do like this wheel route to CJ McCollum. He misses the layup, but Aminu cleans it up. I would like to see Layman actually play a little bit more because the Thunder overplayed offensively, and Layman's back cuts and these alley-oop plays should be there for him. Now, I don't know what happened on this inbounds pass, but that was one of the worst inbounds passes I've seen all season. Ended up with the Thunder scoring in transition. We can't have turnovers like this. The Thunder thrive off of these types of plays. But going back to some high pick and roll that they're trapping, as I said earlier, the weak side rotation is sagging pretty deep, so these mid-range shots should be there for Enes Kanter, and it's nice to see him make that. Again, here's another example of Oklahoma City's trap not being anywhere near as dangerous as the Pelicans. Steven Adams actually kind of sagged a bit, and Damian Lillard made him pay for giving him space. This got Lillard going. He scored another layup there. Now, Aminu has to stay home on Paul George on the perimeter. Here, he's starting to sag to help, but he's really in no position to make a difference on this Westbrook drive. Instead, he leaves Paul George wide open for a 3, and he did a decent job of trying to get back out and contest, but you can't give Paul George this much space. Now, Zach Collins really struggled in this game, in my opinion. Completely got schooled by Markieff Morris on that play. Zach Collins needs to be better, as I think there will be games where Kanter will get into foul trouble, and we'll need Zach Collins. Offensive rebounds were a problem, and we definitely have to shore up the defensive boards a little bit more. The Thunder rebound really well offensively, and we can't let them get those easy buckets. And then, as I said, I really want to see Jake Layman get some minutes because these types of plays will be there for him. Jake Layman probably would have dunked that, but a good job by Zach Collins to catch it, readjust, and still finish inside. Now, one way our pick and roll defense can get better is I think the guards need to do a better job of fighting back in front of the ball to take away this passing lane. CJ McCollum is behind the play there, and this pocket pass to the roll man is there. If CJ McCollum was able to get into that passing lane and take away that pass, it would completely bottle up the pick and roll. And as I said, CJ was getting to his floater all game long. I think in game 2, the Thunder will adjust and take that backside defense and move it up to around the foul line to try and take away the roll man and these drives. That's something we need to be ready for. That just means the guy in the corner has to be ready to shoot, or he needs to be ready to cut baseline. Now, I really like punishing Dennis Schroeder. We were punishing him all game, especially when he's guarding Rodney Hood. That low post possession was a really good possession. And then tell me this, what's better than deep Damian Lillard threes in the playoffs? Absolutely nothing. And if you notice, that deep 3 made it so the Thunder had to guard him way above the three-point line, which gave him room for this drive, which he was able to score on as well. Some fans don't like deep 3s, but it really makes OKC extend the defense, and it gives Dame a lot more space to drive and kick or drive and score. And then here's another example of the play I showed earlier. If Dame hustles to get in front of this pass, it could turn into a turnover, but at least Westbrook wouldn't be able to get this pocket pass to Adams, who's really good at that floater. OKC was able to cut it within 1 with under 3 minutes left by this tip out to Paul George for 3. We got to do a better job of rebounding on the defensive end. But then Damian Lillard has one of the most cold-blooded 3s I've ever seen. OKC has a ton of momentum, and Dame is deep, but he says, screw it, I'm going to pop off from 30 feet, man. That shot was insane. This 3 put Portland up 4 and completely halted OKC's momentum. If Dame misses this shot, I think there's a really good chance that the Oklahoma City Thunder pull out game 1. This was such a big shot from Dame, and I loved it. And then Portland wound down the clock here, up 6, a little over a minute left, but Dame ends up falling, and Thunder turn it into a fast break opportunity. This is a good foul by Mo. Westbrook was perfect from the line. I don't expect that will continue. He's only a 66% free throw shooter. And then if you watched my offensive game plan for Portland video, this should look familiar. A screen to free Dame going towards the corner. But something Portland didn't do in that series was have the opposite guard come up to half court to relieve pressure, and this got CJ McCollum an opportunity where he could drive, and he got a great shot, but he ends up missing it. But Enes Kanter, he was huge all game long. Big offensive rebound. Portland continues to try and wind the clock down. This was a great pass from Dame to Aminu, and that's a good spot for him. This is the right play by Dame. They miss it, but Portland really hounds Russ after he gets the rebound and ends up making him lose the ball. Adams dives on it, but watch Dame as he continues to hustle and ends up getting a hand on this pass that Adams tried giving to Paul George. It ended up with Harkless being able to retrieve it, and this basically salted away the game for Portland. Good job by Enes to not force anything, get the ball back out to CJ, and the Blazers continued to wind clock. That was a great block by Jeremy Grant, but at this point, any score salts away the game. Up 4 with 17 seconds left, they're inbounding it. The play ends up getting botched, and Enes Kanter ends up with the ball near half court, tries to get it to Dame, but can't. So he does the only thing he can do, and he creates something out of nothing on a left-handed scoop drive. This was an amazing shot by Kanter, and it was really the epitome of what he gave us in this game. He was absolutely terrific. Billy Donovan, you can play Kanter, and he killed your team. Now, Maurice Harkless can't be going for the steal. You just need to stay in front and not give up a 3. You don't need to gamble, and Paul George knocks it down. But Damian Lillard free throws were able to salt away this game. MVP chance to the line after a huge game from him, and Portland was able to pull out game 1. So a lot of Thunder fans are saying that, oh, Portland got lucky that the Thunder shot so bad, but they overachieved from the free throw line. OKC shot 40%, Portland shot 42%. So their shooting wasn't that different. It was simply their three-point shooting, but Oklahoma City is not a good three-point shooting team. This is kind of what I expected. While I didn't expect Paul George to miss shots, everybody else in that lineup is not a good three-point shooter. So Portland should be able to continue to outshoot OKC from the three-point line, and if they don't, it'll end up being a problem. But as you saw, Oklahoma City got a ton of easy layups. If Portland is able to fix that, play better transition defense, as well as do a better job on the defensive glass, because OKC got a ton of offensive rebounds off all those missed shots, then Portland will be looking a lot better going into game 2. The offense did get kind of stagnant in the second half. I would like to see them continue to run in transition and get the great looks that they were getting, especially during the first quarter. And as I said, I do expect that weak side help to end up being rotated up more towards the foul line from OKC. That's something we need to be ready for. If they don't do that, then Portland will continue to be able to hit the roll man. CJ McCollum will continuously be able to get to his floater, and the Thunder's trapping pick and roll defense won't help them out at all. So anyway, that's my game 1 recap. Let me know what you thought of this game down in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out of here. I'll see you True Blazer fans later. This has been Tori. Peace out. Go Blazers.